In part 1, we got our uni-strut frame built, as well as 300 watts of solar put on top, and we also cut another hole and slapped on our MaxxFan Deluxe. Now all that's left to do is wire up our solar panels and put our decking on. And just like part 1, this took us way longer than it needed to, but it looks good now. Now that it's a little bit nicer out here, I can show you guys the plan, which is to take this piece here out along the outside. It'll actually be flush with the van. The idea is pretty simple. I don't want to lean a ladder up against the actual van. I want a spot right here, so we have easy access to get up top, as well as just a tiny bit more storage space. No idea what we'd use it for, but hey, I'd rather have it not need it than need it not have it. We have a sturdy platform, an area to lean a ladder up against, and soon to be wood decking all the way across. I think it's gonna look pretty good. Our next step is to go ahead and put all the wood paneling up here. They're already cut to length, but we need to get the spacing between them. We'll mark our spots to drill holes over the uni-strut. We'll go ahead and drill those out, stain it, and hit it with a sealant. And then our roof rack is pretty well done. It shouldn't be a problem because we're resealing it, but in most cases you want gaps between your wood because as it absorbs water, it will swell a little bit, and you don't want them like pushing up against each other or else you'll get warped wood. We're gonna be resealing this, so it shouldn't be a problem, but gaps in between the wood here will keep water from pooling on the top, which is nice. We don't want any water pooling on top of this fan. So this process is gonna be a little bit tedious because I want to start with the outside and work in, and then we're gonna have to take all of them down but the first one so we can reach under and get our measurement in the uni-strut. Then we'll tack each one on after, making sure to space them out accordingly. If you couldn't tell, I was 100% talking to another camera up there. Unfortunately, the storage was full and I was just kind of talking to myself. So what you're seeing is me coming to the realization that the last 30 minutes were not recorded at all. So a little bit happened off camera here. We had to order some extensions to wire up our solar panels here. Turns out with the charger that we got, it requires you to wire it in parallel. We had it set up to do in series, but a few extensions later, we're good to go. Now all we have to do is drop it through this hole that I already drilled and then seal our transition. Just like the vent up front, we are going to be putting butyl tape around our transition here. I don't want there to be any opportunities for leaks here. as far as making a template for our wood slats up here, essentially all I did was find out the space I want. I laid them all up here, just using little spacers like this. And then I went ahead and made lines exactly where the uni-strut's gonna go across these. And then I'm just finding out where the holes are gonna go. So we're gonna be attaching carriage bolts down through the wood, holding it to the uni-strut, just with some locking nuts. So the dry fit up here will work. Jessica didn't drill holes perfectly straight, but the spacing is right. All the holes more or less line up. I think we can take all this down, go stain it, go ahead and seal it, and then we'll start attaching these boards, and our roof rack is completely done. Jessica's out here playing around with staining and sealing our roof rack wood. You know, it's quiet spots like this that I actually really enjoy. I'm just kind of tooling along on a project, seeing the progress as you go. Tomorrow is going to be a pretty big day when we put all these up on the roof, and I'm pumped for it. Kind of a bummer that the welder didn't start up, but I'm sure we'll figure that out, and then we'll patch up our floor, throw in the insulation, and then we'll start framing this thing out. Today is a big day, kind of a big milestone really. We're gonna be finishing up our roof rack. I mean, I already kind of cheated and put a couple up here, but all that's left is to put the rest of this wood up here, and then we got a full platform. We got our solar panels wired in, and it's ready for a drive test to make sure nothing falls off of here. Alright, so I got Jessica out here because my hands were a little bit too small to fit in here.
Too small?
Yep, my hands were too small, so I needed some even smaller hands. Basically, what you gotta do is come in here, hold a washer up, and I'll hold a washer up and then put the nut on. And with this, our roof rack is done. Save the easiest part for the end. Slam! Do you trust it to drive it on the road?
Yeah.
If you've made it this far, hopefully we're doing something right. So leave us a like and be sure to subscribe. It helps us a ton and makes it easier for you to see this whole build come together. In next week's episode, we patch up some holes and get to work insulating and laying down our subfloor. And we light the van on fire a little bit. It's gonna be fun.